comfortable seated position. Okay. Welcome to Gentle Somatic Yoga and Yin. And today we will focus on respiratory things, clearing out our nose and head, and working on the upper body. Of course, we'll get into lower body work as well. So you can start in any comfortable seated position. And let's start with doing left side breathing and then right side breathing. And then we'll do starting with left 3 times, starting with right 3 times, and then we'll do Nadi Shodhana. So you can either do this completely energetically with just focusing, or you can actually seal off a nostril. So we'll start with the left side. So if you're sealing off the nostril, go ahead and seal off the right nostril. And just for a moment, breathe in and out of the left side, maybe 5 times, just to notice how your left side is right now, particularly your respiration on the left side. Keep it slow and steady. Your eyes can be open or closed. Just notice if this is easy or difficult. After the 5th time, if you're holding the other nostril, release it and just do equal breathing. You might have to clear your nose a little bit, especially if your sinuses have been a little clogged. So now we'll do right side breathing. And again, you can do this energetically or seal off the left nostril. And just notice if there's anything different when you're breathing just in and out of your right side. Go ahead and release that and breathe through both nostrils. And you might observe whether you had easier breathing in the left side or the right side. We tend to have a dominant side for breathing, depending on the time we're doing it. Mine was pretty right side dominant right now. In general, left side breathing is a little more calming, right side is a little more active. So now we will breathe in the left and out the right 3 to 5 times. So seal off the right first, and then exhale out the right. Seal off the right as you inhale. Exhale out the right. Feel the right, left side inhale. Right side exhale. Last time. Right side sealed, left side inhale. Left side sealed, right side exhale. And once again, go ahead back to both nostril breathing and just see what's going on right now in your breathing. Now we'll go in the right, out the left for 3 to 5 times. Right side inhale by sealing off left side. Seal right side, exhale. Right side inhale. Seal. Left side exhale. Right side inhale. Seal. Left side exhale. Go back to both sides, inhaling and exhaling. You might need a tissue nearby. We may be clearing your sinuses a little bit by doing this. Another way to clear sinuses, if you've not tried this before, is using a neti pot. If you do use a neti pot, you have to use distilled water and very special salt that they sell with the neti pot. I've been doing that for close to 40 years now. Keeps me from getting sinus headaches. All right, last one is Nadi Shodhana, which is back and forth. We're going to start by breathing in the left and out the right. Then we're going to breathe in the right and out the left. So this is the balancing breath. We'll do 3 to 5 of those and see how you're feeling. Inhale left, seal left, exhale right. Inhale right, seal right, exhale left. Inhale left, seal left, exhale right. Inhale right, seal right, exhale left. Go back to normal breathing one more time. Just check in. Again, you might need to go blow your nose. And just notice how you're breathing. Hopefully we've opened up your sinuses a little bit more, or at least open this area up. Now we'll start to open up our upper body. You might want to change how you're sitting, either change the cross, sit on knees. You can be on a chair. Keep your spine nice and erect. And let's go ahead and drop the chin to the chest and lift, and then lift the chin up and lower. 2 more times. This is nodding yes. And last time. Let's nod no. Very slowly. Noticing range of motion from side to side. Don't make this too big. Don't go into any pain. And then drop chin to chest and trace your collarbone side to side in a pendulum style, very slowly. The slower you go, the more you are sensing internally what's going on, and you're creating new safe movement patterns, which allows your brain to communicate through these tense muscles and say, this is okay. So come back to center, lift your right shoulder up, drop right ear toward right shoulder, depress the right shoulder, lift it up one more time, depress it. Now allow your head to look over toward the left and then come down. And do this gently 3 times, very slowly. And now trace the collarbone over to the other side. Drop the ear, lift the left shoulder and release. Lift your left shoulder and release. Now allow your head to gently go to the right. So this is more of a diagonal. Very slowly. No, stay within your range of motion so that you're not getting too many creaks and cracks and pops. Come back to the center again and lift up. Take your second and third fingers. Find the indent right under your skull and just do little circular motions. First one way, then the other way. This is also good for releasing and reducing headaches. And then protecting the back of your head, you can allow your head to gently circle with those fingers in the area so that you're getting a little bit of an acupressure feeling there, or even a touch of a massage. All right, go ahead and release that. Let's do one more massagey thing. Take your three fingers and kind of form them, second, third, and fourth finger, into a comma. Take this comma shape on the top of the shoulder. You have a ropey area there, and dig the fingers in and breathe. You can hold it as consistent pressure, or you can just push up and release down. Just kind of let the fingers go back and forth. See if you can get it to release. Same thing with the other side. Three fingers in that really tight, ropey area on top of our shoulder. Dig it in, let it go. Dig it in, let it go. And dig it in. Whew, and let it go. Oh, mine were tight. You might just want to do some rolls, something sort of organic, something that just feels good. Shrug and kind of, tighten and release. So tighten muscles, slowly release. Tighten muscles, slowly release. Tighten and release. You might need to change your leg position again. Maybe even give them a little bit of a break. Move them around. Actually, let's do some more upper body things, but we can do this standing up just to get off of our bum. Come up safely in any way you want to. Again, one of my favorite ways to come up when I don't want to do a forward fold or a downward dog is to come into a squat and then just stand straight up. So if you have a strap nearby, we could use a strap to do that thing where we pull our shoulders back. That might be nice to do to open up our chest. And so the strap with a buckle is super helpful. I mean, you can always tie but I love these longer straps with the buckle. And you're wanting to make the loop at about shoulder width apart. So you're going to have to maybe adjust a little bit to get it the right width. So now mine's still too big. Okay. Yep, about shoulder to shoulder, you want the loop to be. And then you'll put one end of the loop around the upper arm of one arm. Now my arm's like this, and then the other end on this one. And it's just a nice way to draw the shoulders back. You might want to stand against a wall. Take a couple of breaths here. And move away from the wall. You could open up an arm and bring it back, open up the other one and bring it back, almost as if you're serving a meal, serving off to the side or a plate of hors d'oeuvres. And then the last thing, which is nice to do with the arms in this position, is to slightly slide the hand forward and back, forward and back. And don't go into pain with this. Keep the movement small enough so that you're not feeling any pain. All right, release that, let it go. And then let's go ahead and draw arms up. Take one hand, and so I'm using my right arm right now, and I'm touching my right shoulder. The elbow is up. And then I'm grabbing this elbow with the other hand, and I'm lifting it, and I'm tilting to my left and coming back. Tilting to the left and back, and third time. And then let's do the other side and notice any differences. And draw a big circle with your arms and release. And once again, let's move the shoulders in an organic fashion. Hopefully you have a little more release up at the upper body. So draw your hands to your back. You can either have the palms on the back, or if you like a little more effort, you can put hands toward each other like that, depending on what you're feeling today. And we're going to do a little bit of a somatic thing. So we're going to go forward first. So drawing everything forward, come to neutral, and then drawing it back. And back to neutral. Collapsing forward, neutral, drawing elbows back, neutral. So if you were doing it like this, it'd be like kind of like that, with the hands grasping each other. So whichever one you're doing, I'm going to go back to the first one. Go ahead and widen your feet. Come into a half forward fold. When you get down toward the half, release the hands down to the thighs. Come even further. Release the arms all the way down. Bend and straighten the knees a few times. And then leaving your right hand on the ground, softening your head, neck, and shoulders. Just bend the elbow of the left arm and lift it and lower it. Now you can make this more into a twist if you're not having neck issues, or you can just leave it like I'm doing, and then do 3 times to the other side. So if you have no neck issues, you can be turning your head and coming up a little bit more. And now we'll do 2 on each side, softening head, neck, and shoulders in between. Breathing. And then let's do 1. And you don't have to go all the way to the ground. You could be leaning on a chair or the bed to do this. So bend the knees a lot. Place forearms on thighs, lengthening spine. Get head above the heart briefly. And then stand all the way up. And let's come back to the wall and see what's going on now in our back body. Ah, just rest here and check in. Okay. So I think dancer's pose is a great way to open up the chest and the upper body. So if you don't like to do a dancer's pose without leaning on something, you might want to grab like a chair. I like to start by having a hand on something and decide whether you want to have your hand like this to grab or just grab from the outside, or if you want to use a strap. So, yeah, I think today I have to grab from the outside. And you might just maneuver the foot a few times. This is getting into your quad a lot. And then once you feel balanced, you could remove the hand. Remember, touch the second finger to the thumb, your index finger, and stare at one spot. And some of you might also be now tipping over a little bit. This is about it for me. All right, go ahead and release that and shake it out. And then let's do the other side. Thumb to index finger, eyes focused on one point. You might move that ankle around a little bit, pointing and flexing, and then allow your supportive leg to kind of sway a little bit back and forth. That's your ankle adjusting. The nerves are telling you where you are in space and making adjustments. Okay, and go ahead and release that and shake it out. All right, we'll come down to do all of our floor work now. We'll go through a mudra and then get on the floor. So you could do your mudra in a chair or on a bolster, and then we'll do our floor work. So you might want to spread your blanket out before you settle down. So we spread a blanket out over the mat when we do our somatic work on the floor because we want our body to be able to slide easily. And a lot of sticky mats prevent the sliding. Plus, it's a little more layer of cushioning too. Okay. So I think since this is the month of the heart, this is an interesting mudra which has some heart in it. And it's called the Kalashvara mudra for attaining spiritual freedom. So it's about incorporating wisdom and compassion and experiencing freedom. So the hand position, actually, you're making a heart. So I'm going to zoom in. So the palms facing each other. The pad of the middle finger is touching each other up. So that's kind of above the heart. But then all the other fingers are making a heart. So your thumb's the bottom of the heart, and the other fingers are making the two petals of the heart. And then you can hold the gesture close to the heart. So if you want to rest your arms here and the pointed part is pointing out. Okay, so it's like a heart with an arrow going out from it. So settle into this just for a minute and notice how placing your hands in this interesting mudra affects your breathing and your energy. Just notice where you are breathing. Notice the energetic quality of this mudra. So the breath should be going from the heart to your third eye and then back down again. So check this out. See if your breath can go from heart to third eye and back down, from heart to third eye and back down. As you breathe, notice the natural integration and unity of your center of compassion of the heart and your center of wisdom in the third eye. As the energy is flowing freely between these two centers, you're sensing more of the integration and unity. The heart and mind are a seamless unity. Wisdom and compassion. So we'll explore wisdom and compassion at different levels. First, let's explore it at the material level. Through the eyes of the heart, recognize the desire for material things as a natural extension of the drive to survive. Through the eyes of wisdom, you clearly see that nothing actually comes from the outside, that nothing from the outside can add or subtract to what's already whole and complete inside of you. So as compassion and wisdom meet, you're able to release the binding desires to material things while opening to receive all that the universe offers freely and unconditionally. Now sense the integration of wisdom and compassion within your relationships. Through the eyes of the heart, welcome your feelings compassionately, recognizing that developing intimate relationships with others has a lot of challenges and joys and opportunities. And it's all a natural part of the journey toward emotional maturity. Through the eyes of wisdom, you clearly see that all of your emotional needs are a reflection of your essential desire to connect with others and to connect with yourself. As compassion and wisdom meet, you witness all feelings that arise in relationships, trying not to repress nor react unconsciously, and welcoming love and affection in a natural balance of giving and receiving. Finally, sense the integration of wisdom and compassion at the level of your spiritual journey, including all the teachings and the techniques that have guided you towards your awakening. Through the eyes of the heart, honor your entire path, including all the practices, the teachers, and the teachings that you have followed with sincerity, recognizing that the areas of weakness you may perceive in these is a natural reflection of the limitations of being human. And yet, through the eyes of wisdom, you clearly see that ultimately there's no spiritual journey, only your experience of being a conscious being. You have always been and will always be that which you seek. As compassion and wisdom meet, you honor all the great masters and their teachings while resting in this moment-to-moment presence of being your authentic self. So, being your authentic self, you might consider repeating the following 3 times, aloud or silently. As compassion and wisdom meet, I live freely and joyfully. As compassion and wisdom meet, I live freely and joyfully. As compassion and wisdom meet, I live freely and joyfully. Go ahead and release the gesture. Move your fingers around gently, blinking open the eyes when you're ready. And let's come on to our backs. You might want a extra blanket. We'll push it out of the way for some of the things we're doing, but we'll have it nearby. You also might want to elevate the floor above the head for any of the things we're doing with our arms back if you're tight in your armpits. And also make sure you have enough room to spread your arms out to the side. Okay. So start with arms in a T and take your hands. All we're going to do now is roll our hands to palms down, to palms up a few times with our arms out in a T. And you can get a little bit of upper body involved when you do this by kind of moving the shoulders with it too. So just a small rotation of the shoulders. Now decide whether hands facing up or hands facing down is more comfortable for you. And settle into that momentarily, and let's work our lower body just a little bit. Start with some comfortable windshield wipers. Now, notice where your feet and knees are and maybe explore a different width. So I started pretty wide. I'm going to come a little closer, and then I'm going to draw my arms in a different position above the head with the backs of my hands on my bolster, and then do some more windshield wipers. Now, as you're exploring, you might explore upper body movement too. For instance, when the legs drop left, you could lengthen the right arm, getting your whole side body involved. You might also consider, depending on how your neck feels, turning the head, but today my neck wants to stay centered, so you decide how that feels. So the next time, pick another position. I'm going even closer, and then moving my hands toward my hip bones. So now feet and knees are pretty close together. So the next time you drop off to the right, you can go all the way over and reach your left ankle with your left hand, getting a little bit of a quad stretch here again. And then drawing this knee towards your chest, roll back onto the back, lengthen the right leg. You're gripping now under the kneecap and lift and lower. Lift, maybe pointing toes and lower. Lift and lower. Bend up the other knee if it's straight. Cross the ankle of the bent leg, making a figure 4. You can lift up the supportive leg and reach under and lift and lower that leg, pointing at the top, flexing at the bottom, pointing at the top, flexing at the bottom. Release the legs, circling the hips. And then let's repeat. So starting with feet and knees together, hands on the hips. Let your knees go to one side and back to the center. Knees go to the other side and back to the center. Now, the next time your knees drop over to the opposite side of where they drop, reach around and grab the ankle of the top leg, getting a nice quad stretch here. And then drawing this knee into the chest as you roll back on your back, reaching under the kneecap, lifting and lowering. You could point at the top and flex at the bottom, point at the top, flex at the bottom, bending up the other leg, cross the ankle of your, well, for me, it's the right knee over, making a figure 4. And then lifting the supportive leg, and you're going to lift and lower that leg, pointing at the top, flexing at the bottom, pointing at the top, flexing at the bottom. Go ahead and release the knee and circle your hips around a little bit. And circle the other way a little bit. And place both feet on the ground. Now, if you have something under your head, you might want to remove it because you're going to put your hands under the head and draw your shoulders off to the side. Feel the weight of the arms in the ground and tilt the head up to the sky. And then draw elbows toward each other, tuck chin in. You don't have to lift the head off the ground at this moment. Draw arms back to the ground. Feel them press against the ground a little bit as you tilt head to sky. Soften through neutral. Tuck chin in. Elbows toward each other. So now we're going to release our neck through a gentle bridge pose that also involves lifting the head. Now, the reason why this works to release the neck is because it's a somatic contraction first before a release. So you'll lift into a small bridge pose. Your head is being supported by the hands. You'll lift into a tiny little crunch. Lower the bridge pose first, and then lower the top second and soften and release muscles. 2 more times in the center. Lift, hips first, lift head second, lower hips, and lower head, soften muscles. Last time like this. Lift the hips, lift the head, lower the hips, lower the head. Release the hands, arms by side. Allow your head to very slowly and gently rock side to side. Now we're going to do this 2 more sets. One set, your head is going to be turned slightly off to the right. So cup the hands back behind the head and turn it slightly off to the right. Only as much as it's not causing you any discomfort. So lift the hips and then lift the head. Lower the hips, lower the head, soften muscles. 2 more times. Lift the hips, lift the head, hips lower first, head second. One last time. Hips go up first, head goes up supported by hands. Lower the hips, lower the head, soften the muscles, release the hands from behind the head, and allow the head just to turn to the right, seeing if you've released any tension. We'll do 1 in the center as we transition to the left side. So hands behind head again, lift the hips and lift the head, lower the hips, lower the head, soften muscles. Now turn head slightly off to the left. You'll do 3 with your head like this. Lift the hips, lift the head, hips down first, head second, soften muscles. Lift the hips, lift the head supported by the hands, lower the hips, lower the head, soften muscles. Last time like this. Lift the hips, lift the head, hips lower first, head lowers, release hands from behind the head, allow the head to turn more to the left. And then just allow your head to gently turn side to side. So take your time to roll completely over to your bellies. I'm going to sit up to demonstrate so you don't have to strain. And if you've been taking classes with me for a while, you know this is a couple of the things we do to release head, neck, and shoulders. So you're going to have your hands chest tight. These are called swimming shoulders. You're going to do this forward, this back 3 times, widen the hands and do them together forward and together back. And then we'll do something with our neck as well. So your head is just bobbling, or you can even plant your forehead on the ground. All right, so your hands are chest height, elbows are tucked back, and then just start to circle. It's really more of an ellipse or an oval than a circle. You can either do one side at a time or go back and forth. When you've done about 3 sets, go toward the back now. After you completed that, spread the hands away from the body and do both shoulders. You might have a smaller move here. Together, forward, and both shoulders together, back. So now make a pillow and allow your head to rest briefly and allow the legs to bend and swish side to side, releasing any lower body tension that may have been created. So take the left arm by your side body, palm is facing up, your shoulder is going to stay on the ground if possible. Take your right palm underneath your forehead and have the palm down. We're going to lift just to the right side, almost as if you're saluting, and release. So lifting just a little bit and releasing. Now, if you want to add the opposite leg in to work the muscles all across your back, this can be very strengthening for the back body. Make sure you soften at the bottom. Breathing, softening. All right, after the third time, reverse. So now your left hand is palm down under the forehead. Your right arm is right by your side, palm is up, your shoulders trying to snug to the ground. Just start by lifting just the left arm and head as if you're saluting. Breathing, opening up, working that back body. You could add your opposite leg in. So the right leg is going up as the left upper body is moving. Last time. Make a pillow again. Soften everything. Let your low body sway side to side. Now we'll do one last neck release while we're on our belly. And this one, it's really a small movement. Put your hands back by your side, palms down, and lay, if you can, your right cheek on the ground. Now lift your head up maybe an inch or left with the right cheek still facing the ground. And then tuck the chin in towards your chest. Very slowly move your head across your collarbone and very gently lay the left cheek down, softening. Lift up, left cheek is parallel to ground. Chin tucks. Very slowly, your nose is almost touching the ground. And then right cheek to ground. And let's gently push our way back up to hands and knees, maybe lengthening all the way back into a child's pose. Softening here in any fashion. If you need something between the floor and your ankles, do that, or something between your thighs and your calves, do that. And let's rest here in a child's pose. You can widen your knees or keep them narrow. Soften everything. Breathe. Just notice how you're feeling. Ah, okay. So we'll come back. Actually, let's lay on our side. We'll get into lying down twists from each side and then go into our Shavasana. So whatever you like to use in a twist, you can have nearby. For laying on your side, some of you might want something under the head to support the neck. Some of you might want this kind of thing between the legs, right? Whatever works for you. All right. So get your self set up on the side and draw the arms directly in front of you. So the hands are touching each other, the arms are straight. So I'm going to lift one arm up to the sky and then turn the hand side to side, getting the shoulder, bending the elbow, and opening up my chest into a twist. And breathing here and settling in. And then drawing that hand back up and bringing it back toward the other hand. And from here, rolling onto your back, taking a moment to check in before we do the other side. How are you feeling? You have a little more energy flowing through all the limbs. How's the spine? So setting up for the other side, you can just roll over. And starting off on your side, putting as much support as you need under the head, as well as some of you might want something between the thighs. Stretch your arms directly out in front of you. Hands are touching each other. And then lift the top hand up to the sky. Turn the whole arm a few times. Getting into some shoulder mobility, bending elbow, opening up the chest completely into some sort of twist, making adjustments that you need. Feel the opening of the chest, of the heart center, your breathing. Drawing that hand back up to the sky, drawing the arm back to meet the other arm, and finding your way slowly, carefully, gently into your favorite Shavasana position. And you might need a little bit of movement, settling yourself down, scanning, noticing what's feeling good, what needs more attention, following your breath, just enjoying this moment, this breath, and this moment right here, right now. So this reading is called The Gift of Shedding. From the beginning, the key to renewal has been the casting off of old skin. It's interesting that the earliest peoples believed in something that we, in our modern hive of manufacturing, have forgotten. That immortality is attainable by shedding. The Dusins of North Borneo have believed for centuries that when God finished creating the world, he announced that who's ever able to cast off his skin shall not die. But what does that really mean? Not that we can live forever, but the way to stay closest to the pulse of life, the way to stay in the presence of the divine reality, which informs everything is to be willing to change. Still, change what? To change whatever has ceased to function within us, to shed whatever we're carrying that's no longer alive, to cast off our dead skin, because dead skin can't feel, and dead eyes can't see, and dead ears can't hear. And without feeling, there's no chance of wholeness. And wholeness remains our best chance to survive the pain of breaking. Of course, for human beings, dead skin takes many forms, the most significant of which remain intangible but suffocating, such as a dead way of thinking, a dead way of seeing, a dead way of relating, a dead way of believing, or a dead way of experiencing. In essence, shedding opens us to self-transformation. Paradoxically, those of us who refuse such renewal will sooner or later be forced to undergo transformation anyway, as a result of being broken or eroded by the world. Very often, both occur at the same time. That is, we shed from within while being eroded from without. A lot to think about. So, in the last minute, center yourself. Meditate on what you are carrying that is dead skin for you. Breathe cleanly and deeply and ask yourself, what are you being called to shed, to put to rest in order to gain greater access to the hidden wholeness of life? A lot to think about today. All right, so we may have gone a little long. Go ahead and find your way gently to seated, and then gather any parts of today's practice that were helpful to you in shedding off what you don't need, in feeling better in mind, body, and spirit, and in being able to approach your day fully in presence. Namaste. I didn't ring the bowl, so Sophie may not jump in here.